Hmm. Well, I think I'm probably the most hopeful now, and I think I've been able to really pivot towards the future. I think we can all see the light at the end of the tunnel of this thing, and I think that we need to aggressively start looking forward, and not just for ourselves. I think for our neighbors, for our communities, and we all need to just unite and move as fast as we can to make up for this year that we've lost. Yeah, and I think probably different than most people. um, I was already pivoting towards the next chapter. I had already, by the time the pandemic hit, I'd already been away from Apple for 6 months. So I was already in the pause, looking forward to what my next was. So I'm incredibly blessed to honestly, have an extra year, if you will, to really just read and meditate and talk to brilliant people all over the world and see where I could best use my gifts and my expertise to make an impact, regardless of if I know anything about it or not, which seems to be the story of my life. But so I was already at a different phase, and I feel so wonderful that I was, and because I think that it allowed me to have even greater perspective. Dove, I think it. I don't know if I would be pivoting to save the children had I not had the year of reflection. And this next phase of my life, and I guess I could say I've kind of done this in every phase of my life, I see work as a calling. I've never seen it as a job. I don't like a job. I like it when it is so fulfilling and such a natural extension of who I am. I mean, no different than a great musician or no different than an athlete. When it becomes, and in business, that's always, in leadership, that's what I've been. I've never dreaded waking up in the morning and doing what I do because it fulfills me. And so I just needed to find out what my calling was next in life, and again, I think that at every stage of our life, I don't see things as a challenge. I see them as learning, forced learning, and it's a test. And when you pass that test, then in life you're given more, and you're being pushed even further. And so many people don't see it as just lessons. Throughout my life, I've always tried to put myself in the other person's position. And how would I want to be treated? How would I want to be spoken to? What do I want to feel? I want to feel like I belong to something. In business, nobody talks about love. It's the greatest connector in the world. I want to feel loved. Right. I don't care if it's by my partner, from my kids, in work. And again, I talked about love at Burberry because I was running it and I could, but it is such an incredible, so again, you build this trust, you unite, and then it's okay to talk about all of these very basic, fundamental human things. I don't think that do unto others is called the golden rule for no reason. And so I believe heavily in servant leadership. Put yourself in the other person's position. I've always said my job is just to be the connector, the enabler, which empowers individuals to do great things. It's never about me. It is, I think, one of the greatest gifts that every one of us as humans are given. And otherwise, we wouldn't be able to communicate, not just verbally, but with our eyes and our expressions. And I don't care if that's physically or virtually. Our job as leaders is to look ahead, use our instincts, feel what's coming, and then to unite our teams of people and warn them and pivot and strategize. But what underpins all of that, Dove, in my humble opinion, is trust, values. You sum that up brilliantly. You call it moral leadership. And all that moral leadership to me is, it's building a foundation of trust. And trust, the word isn't used enough. We don't talk enough about it. But as humans, if we trust each other, and I don't care if we speak the same language, if I feel you and I trust you, Science, it opens up our prefrontal cortex. We naturally begin to connect on a totally different level.
Right.
And then we start thinking more creatively. We start innovating. We start working closer and closer. And then, the old adage, two heads are better than one.
Right.
And again, I don't care if it's in a marriage, Dove. I don't care if it's a father-son, in business. So deep values help build deep trust. Deep trust unlocks individuals, empowers individuals, but unites groups of people, ordinary people, to collectively do extraordinary things.